Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. It's the first of the season. It's a season preview. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today I'm joined by two familiar faces. We start with the man himself, Mr. Dave Azzopardi. Dave, good to see you, mate. How are you?
You too? Yeah, keeping well, mate. Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it. Back at it again. How you been?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. As I know, I did a couple of transfer podcasts with Joe, but I'm in the new house now. Settled
Congrats.
in. Thank you very much, bro. Settled in nicely, and yeah, just very busy with work and my own business. It's just a bit manic at the minute, but you know, it's a nice problem to have, mate. It's
Of course.
keeping me out the pub as well. So saying that, I had a skinful yesterday. We had a barbecue around here, and I said to Adrian, I said, I'm not going to bother drinking. And I must have had about 10 pints. And I tried into work this morning. Oh, God. I stopped about 9 o'clock as well. I had a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits while everyone else was still drinking. I thought that'll be enough. Give me a bit of a buffer to had a couple of electrolytes. Had electrolyte this morning. I wanted to chuck the towel in this morning. It was horrendous, but I'm past the anxiety now, and I'm raring to go. Mr. Jordan Russell, how are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good, mate. What you been up to?
Golfing. Got some new irons and a putter last week, so I've been been getting ready to go with that. Was on a stag do last weekend as well. So that took about 3 or 4 days to get over, it was a great time, but yeah, we went for 3 nights and it's 3 nights too many, I think. Like literally I just felt fucking awful when I come home. Just absolutely shattered. But no, it was good, mate. It's been a good little summer.
Where did you go on the stag do?
So we went to Oslo in Norway because we wanted to go somewhere different. Because unfortunately, I'm an elder statesman now. I'm 32, look 57, but I've been to a lot of places. So we wanted to go somewhere that we haven't been before. So we went to Oslo, just a random place, like probably one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to in my life. But they tax alcohol substantially. So it was worked out to be about £9 a pint and about £7.50 a shot. So I brought a tray of 14 shots on the first night, and it come up on my Starling account the next day. I'll let you let you both have a guess. I know I've just told you roughly what it was, but
David have only spent 24 quid all holiday, so so how long were you there for?
3. This is just one round of
14 shots.
And how many people?
14 shots.
14.
But we had
14 shots.
Yeah.
And how much were the shots? I feel like I'm doing
I reckon 112. 112.
Approximately £7.50 a shot it was.
Plus taxed.
No, that was tax, yeah.
You can claim that. I reckon 120 quid.
No, it's 105.
No, so this round in particular come to £154.12p.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
It's no fun, is it? Who picks a stag do like that? I just don't get it.
No,
stag do should be,
cheap.
Either cheap or exotic.
Well, so the one thing was the best man had taken. He didn't tell us. He took 50 quid off us each when we paid originally in January and put it in a fund, right? Yeah. And this fund happened to bet Spain to win the Euros pre-tournament. So we had 1,100 quid.
Oh.
So the first 1,100 quid was we didn't pay anything for the first 1,100 quid. But 1,100 quid lasted
an hour into the stag, you get into your own.
Yeah, you think? Yeah. Well, yeah. So it was.
Who would bet on Spain though? They weren't even the favourites. That's such a brave bet.
If he didn't win the bet, he wouldn't have mentioned that. That'd have just gone.
Oh no, I said that. No, we all said this, right? We're like, oh, that's amazing, that's class. And I come home and told them about it once we found out about the fund a couple of weeks before we went. He goes, well, has you just been gambling with your money?
I'd feel naked.
Like, yeah, you know what? But anyway, it paid off, so we're not going to get into that. But no, it was a real nice city to go to, and we ended up going to watch on the first night. We went to watch some football, and we ended up watching the top of their League One equivalent called Skeid FC with an 1,100 capacity. So we went there in fancy dress started dancing with the ultras and whatever, flares going off and whatnot. So, yeah, it was good. It was a good stag do, a good time.
Flares in a Division 3 game, you know.
I didn't know they were back in fashion. I feel a bit uneasy about someone like taking my money off me to gamble. I don't like.
Yeah.
It works out, but I'd be like buzzing, but also like
such a weird bet though. It's such a strange bet.
Self-exclude. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Right? You know, I think if the fund would have gone tits up, we would never heard about this extra 50 quid that we didn't know about.
Well, mate, you might think it's 50 quid. It might have been 100, and it might have like laid England, and it's just come out on Trump somehow.
All I know is we had a few free drinks in Norway, which helps. So
we booked an holiday. Obviously, like moving house and stuff. We have to have stuff done, and you have to buy things. It gets quite expensive. But we said we wanted to go away September, and we've looked at somewhere that's quite nice, but also isn't going to cost like an absolute bomb. We talk about drinks prices. We looked at Croatia, Dubrovnik, and we could get there in a hotel. It's in Lapad, just outside, more like the beachy part. And I thought, I really want to go. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to check like how much like a pint is in like the beach club round the corner. It was like £13 a pint. And I thought, absolutely no chance. So we're going to Rhodes. Which we got it fairly cheap in the end, but yeah, should be nice. Well, you been up to anything special, Dave, during the off season?
Yeah, I had a couple of little breaks because, to be fair, other than the football, last year I think I only had 3 days off the whole year. So this year I did 10 days in Malta with the family, which was nice, and then went away for a week to Devon with the missus. That was
missus. Well. That's new news, isn't it?
Breaking news. Yeah. Yeah. So no, enjoyed it and I say stuck to the gym and stuff the last 2 weeks. I think I've been once, so I need to get back on that this week, to be fair. But yeah, back to normality now with the football and stuff. And it's nice to recharge the batteries a little bit as well, because the end of last season was a bit of a drag. So yeah, looking forward to it again.
For everyone. It was for everyone, and especially those who have to talk about it on a daily. Even now though, when people come and speak to you about Wolves, I'm just thinking,
I've had it at work. Well, I'm there
can't be bothered.
Yeah,
and it's not like me make it. I don't care about people's opinions, but even just football in general, I'm just it's going to be done by February. It don't matter. I'll start being a bit more positive. Let's address the elephant in the room: season tickets. We all moaned and was scathing at the season ticket increases. Jord, you don't have one anyway, do you? So you wouldn't have renewed. Dave, the golden question: have you renewed?
So yeah, I put that tweet out, and in hindsight, well, no. To be fair, I put the tweet out, and my main issue, and I made that pretty clear, I'm sure, on videos and tweets, is that I wasn't happy with the kids' prices, and they sort of went back on that. So I had a lot more money in my Wolves account than I realised. So my season ticket was a lot cheaper than I expected. But obviously, I'm still not happy with the prices. But yes, I have renewed. But I've sort of made not a stand, but I'm still extremely unhappy with how they dealt with it, especially Jeff Shee, and I still have major question marks over his running of this football club. But that's a different conversation for a different podcast.
I don't think we were doing a podcast at the time, but for the record, I thought it was absolutely disgusting the way that it was handled. The comments before the season ticket price increase in Jeff's column, I just thought it was tone deaf and almost felt like we were having the piss taken out of us. So if the club are listening, I think it's something that they do need to consider moving forward. I know Jeff said it's either going to be a price freeze or a small increase, so I'll take from that it'll be a small increase. But it's got to be better. We've got, as everyone knows, 2 tickets between the 3 of us, and I know you can't share your tickets, and I know they're probably clamping down on it, but it'd be a bit of an own goal if they were to do this. I normally buy one, and the other one we share. This year, I am sharing a ticket. I've not bought my own one because I haven't got that much time anyway, and also it's I almost feel a little bit detached from the whole season ticket thing and last season. I don't know. It's just left me a little bit bitter even now. But I didn't go to the friendly. I won't be buying a drink in the ground or anything unless I've already had a few outside. Then I will.
Till November? Is it till November? I think most, if not all of our games are on TV anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
While a new game. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think, obviously, I don't think I've discussed this or we put it publicly, but there were, after the whole season ticket thing, there was quite strong conversations to be had with the fan groups that we've got about Jeff Shee's position, and there were going to be conversations to be had. But I think with the whole hoo-ha about the season ticket news, I think we thought we'll just leave that for now. But it's pretty obvious that he has a lot of work to do and a lot of making up to do. And it's funny, the stuff that he was almost rubbishing and sort of playing down in regards to the stadium and stuff, and all of a sudden now the stadium work's being done. I think he sort of realised, but he should have just ignored all those emails because just looks stupid.
Personally, I don't think it was him replying to the emails. I think it must have been a PA of some sort.
Yeah,
I'm hoping anyway, because it just strikes me as unprofessional. And on the contrary, they might say, "Well, you asked for communication. You've got direct communication now." But no. the tone and the deliverance was changing from email to email. You can obviously tell he was getting quite frustrated with the emails, and I mean it's not hard to find his email. They've got a formula for their emails, but I just thought the whole thing was handled really, really poorly. And from what we've spoken about or been told, it seemed to be very clear that other kind of senior stakeholders in the club had warned about the backlash, but Jeff went ahead with it anyway. And he's obviously commercially savvy. He knows what decisions to make. And they look at the season ticket renewals. I personally don't believe that the figures they're putting out, if I'm totally honest, because there was people going down to like 6,000, 7,000 on the waiting list. Now, I know obviously not everyone is going to take up the opportunity when it comes to their turn, but I don't know. I just I smell it. It smells a bit fishy to me. But...
So I was going to say there. So I can confirm it. So I used to have a season ticket. Technically, I have still got a season ticket in the Safe Bank, which someone goes as myself with. No one get rid of that season ticket because that person pays for it still. But so I now go on a membership as my dad, and I went on the waiting list, but way back when on my dad's support number just for the sake of it, and I got an email being 6,700 something in the list, and then I got an email saying you could buy a season ticket as you on my dad's membership number 6,700. So I think the uptake of those on the waiting list was really poor, and like I say, I think that should hit them hard. Really, that the waiting list went down that low, and secondly as well, it was something that I tweeted about sort of at the end of May around the general admission prices as well being north of 70 quid. This was back in May, and then they've come out as Cat A and the Billy Wright. I think it's 71 or 72 quid, something like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's come out as. I mean, again, like where you talk about being tone deaf and everything like that, like I'm not being funny. There can't be many people willing to pay 72 quid for a one-off match as a Wolves fan.
No, that's the problem. Guys. It's not aimed at Wolves fans. It's aimed at fans of the Premier League.
Yeah. No, completely. And there'll be a problem now where you will get, when you've got Liverpool in town or Man United in town or Chelsea or Arsenal, people will just pay for a membership and then pay the 72 quid ticket because going reseller in the away ends for these games, they'll pay 200-300 quid a ticket. So I think you're going to have a problem where you're going to get away fans in the home end as well, where I'm not being funny. There's no way. If you said to me, Jord, you can go and watch Wolves, Man United, and again, fortunately enough, we've got other means of getting tickets, but 72 quid, do you want to go? I'll tell you to fuck off. Yeah. I'm not paying 72. We could play fucking Real Madrid, Barcelona. I ain't paying 72 quid to go and watch Wolves play. I'm sorry.
No,
it's not happening.
No, same. I think as well, and I don't think the club would ever admit to this, but clubs don't really want season ticket holders because they get more from single match going fans who would come from a little bit further afield and spend a bit more in the mega store and whatnot, and that's where clubs make the money. I think with United, I think from season tickets that haven't been taken up this year, I think they're holding them back to sell us hospitality packages. And it's what they did at Spurs when I worked there. They flog a single match ticket, brand it as hospitality, and you can put like £200 or £300 on it because you can't actually sell a match ticket above face value. You have to try and position it as a hospitality package, whether that's you travel or whatnot. But yeah, I just thought it was handled poorly by the club. I'm a mug for still renewing, but I suppose that's what you get for love as your first love. You always live in hope. Well, I just hope moving forward, the club do better because it was a shambles. Before we move on to the next segment where we'll be talking about pre-season, we do have a message from our sponsors, Football Prizes. Now, Football Prizes have been supporting us for, I think, about 2 or 3 years now, and we're delighted to say that they'll be joining us again as a partner on the channel this season, and they have a very, very special prize available on their site, footballprizes.co.uk. It is a Gary O'Neill signed Morphy Richards kettle and toaster set. No, it's not. It's not. Have you seen that? There's a bloke who sells signed microwaves from celebrities.
I've never seen that before.
No.
Yeah. He got there's a picture of him giving Chris Eubank his microwave and he's signing it, and it was on eBay the same day. But no, the prize isn't the Gary O'Neill signed kettle and toaster. It is a Steve Bull signed shirt. It's £3.95 to enter. There's 125 tickets at the draw. The end of the competition is Thursday, the 15th of August at 7:30. There's also a load of instant win prizes within that draw as well, so you could get the chance to win a load more prizes. I think there's up to 14 instant win prizes in there, so you've got a very good chance of winning something there. So footballprizes.co.uk. Dave will put the graphic on screen now, and yeah, good luck, and hopefully it goes to a Wolves fan. Moving on to pre-season, chaps, are you happy with how it's gone? I feel like personally, it's apart from the friendly at the weekend, it seems to be quite a positive pre-season, Dave.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why Wolves fans being Wolves fans, I think this is across the board for football fans in general, is a serious overreaction to Saturday's game when you consider how well we played previously. I think obviously with it being the final pre-season game before the Premier League season, you'd hope for us to be ready. And Vallecano hadn't had a good pre-season; they've been quite poor actually. But I felt Wolves in that game dominated the play. It was just typical Wolves where we didn't look that threatening in front of goal. But the rest of pre-season, you look at our numbers, the amount of goals we scored, especially in America, I thought we did really well. And, it wasn't Leipzig's strongest team, but still had some quality players out there when we sort of destroyed them, really. West Ham, we had a really good performance. Palace we created chances, but just couldn't get find the final touch too often. But I think it's a really productive pre-season, considering a new system being put in place. We'll be intrigued to see if that's how we start and play against Arsenal as well, because of how good they are playing a back four. Is that, how is that going to work? Or is Lamina going to drop into it occasionally and make it a 5? But yeah, impressed. Good to see some of the new players involved. And yeah, looking forward to obviously a new season and something a bit fresh with the back four. And a lot of managers have tried and tested it. Bruno Lage didn't really like it. Lopetegui, we had some success out of it, and obviously didn't quite go to plan for Gary O'Neill when he first started it as well. So now he's had a full pre-season with it. It'll be interesting to see how we get on.
Jord, I think if anything, the biggest kind of sign from the weekend was just how important Matheus Cunha is to everything we do. It was the same last season, but I think even more so now. It's ringing true, and hopefully you can get him back pretty soon.
Yeah, he's vital really for any success we have this season. I think he knits together the midfield and the forwards. Quite simply, he gets on the ball, he can drive with the ball, take the ball 20, 30 yards up the pitch, make us play a bit higher. So he's a very, very important player. Yeah, but now we've lost Neto, which we'll get on to shortly as well. He's going to have to do a little bit more of that as well as it stands at the moment. So yeah, no, he's a really important player for us. And I think it was weird, right? I thought there was a lot of negativity on Twitter after the result on the weekend. After largely the other 3 games, even the Palace game, we played really well in it. I don't feel like we actually deserve to lose that game. And honestly, really, when it comes to pre-season and results, it means fuck all when the Premier League starts, because you don't win anything in pre-season. It's all about getting minutes in the legs. It's about having a look at things. I feel like the back four has worked in large parts of pre-season, and yeah, look, I think I'd rather lose 1-0 against Vallecano than lose 1-0 to, I don't know, Ipswich in a few months' time. You know what I mean? So just context is key, really. So yeah,
you say you win fuck all in pre-season, but I think you're forgetting. Cast your mind back to 2019 when Wolves lifted the Asia Trophy.
But again, look, again, people say it means something. It means fuck all. I know beat Man City on that day. It means no, it doesn't
Respect
matter.
the Lanusia Cup as well in Benidorm, man.
And the Eurine Cup as well in Austria.
Yeah.
Pretty decorated.
Yeah.
Some pre-season friendlies recently.
That's the only trophies in the reception at Molineux at the
moment. Yeah, maybe we should stop talking it down so much. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, like it doesn't matter, does it? Let's be honest with you. And I think there's been a lot of positives from pre-season, so I'd rather focus on the positives out of pre-season than the odd result. And to be fair, the goal on the weekend was a good strike, wasn't it? And sometimes that just happens as well.
You talk about positives there, Jord. Has anyone stood out for you so far pre-season?
I think the obvious one's Rodrigo Gomez, isn't he? Because you just think, again, I was a little bit sceptical because I haven't seen a lot of him, right? And he obviously come with a bit of a slight reputation. He done well last year, and I thought, it's probably one of those. It's going to take a bit of time. We're probably going to need a season or two, maybe a season just to get up to speed with things. But he's looked the part, every bit of the part in pre-season, and I think I'd be shocked if he didn't start on the weekend at the Emirates. To be honest with you, I think he's been that good. And I think on top of that, it's been really good to see Mosquera actually playing. He got rave reviews at Villarreal, other than that Marseille game where Aubameyang ripped him a new arsehole, I think, in his first or second game. But I like the profile of Mosquera being one of those two centre halves because he's very quick, very mobile. I think with the back four, you need pace, and that's just the modern game, and he's got that in abundance.
That back four gives me kittens a little bit, Dave. How do you think it's gonna fare moving forward? I know you're a Totti Gomez enthusiast, but it just, I don't know. I would like someone else in there, maybe alongside Mosquera personally. That's just a bit of a flagship centre half.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably touch on it more later on because I know we're going to talk about transfers as well. But it's difficult at the moment because I think everybody knows that we need another centre back, especially to replace Kilman. We've moved to a back four, so you need two centre halves. You've got four centre halves who I would say are all Premier League quality. I think that's being fair. And then if you were to bring, I do think we need someone better in there. So you're talking about a top, or not quite elite, but let's say a top centre half. All of a sudden, one of Santi Bueno, Craig Dawson, Mosquera, or Totti becomes a fifth choice centre back, and that's what we need. That's what we do need to consider slightly with this, is like squad harmony and things like that long term. But I still feel that we do need another centre half. The back four is one for me because I think we've been so used to having this back five where, yes, it can be caught out at times, but with the back four, all of a sudden we look so much more open. So I think there will be teething problems. I think if Gary O'Neill is going to be stubborn and stick with it, because long term, if that's the shape we want to stick with, we can't just, after we've lost a couple of games, think, let's go back to the back five again. I think we're going to have to accept that there are going to be times where the defenders are going to be dragged out, but it's a fresh back line almost. If you bring in another centre half, Mosquera and whoever else, they've not played in the back five much. Whereas when it was like Kilman and so on, they're almost used to that back five. And we saw it with Cody as well when we first switched. It was almost as if he was getting pulled out of shape because he half expected someone to be behind him, and it wasn't the case. So I think there will be teething problems with that. But yeah, I mean, I liked Pedro Lima as well. I think obviously he's still quite raw, but going forward, I think that goal Rodrigo Gomez scored, was it against West Ham, and the ball from Lima was just unbelievable. I've liked the look of him, but Gomez is the star man, as Jord has already pointed out. I like Strand Larsen as well. I think you look at his goal contributions in pre-season, very, very strong. He was getting some stick after that game on Saturday, but I don't think anyone was that brilliant. But certainly, I think feed him in and around the area. He's either going to provide assists or put the ball in the back of the net, I'm sure.
And we'll just quickly touch on Gary O'Neill's new contract, Jord. How important do you think that is for the club? It obviously gives us a bit more structure and a bit more certainty, but also protects his value with the England role being still up in the air. Yeah,
I think it's one thing that we haven't had. Well, we definitely didn't have last season's continuity in terms of and confidence in who's going to be here, who wants to be here, who wants to manage us. And, we gave Gary O'Neill a chance last year. I don't think he was high on anyone's list at the time. And he come in and did an unbelievable job. Didn't get backed in January, which I think is why we end up where we ended up, really, with the season petering out. Yeah, look, I think it's massive. We've got him now until 2028. I still think that if a England job comes up for him, I think he would walk.
Yeah, of course. I think
But
most would.
but I think, obviously, the one fear I had was West Ham and the fact they've gone for,
Stropatega.
yeah, that Spanish arsehole. Then no, I think that's gone away for a little bit as well now. So yeah, look, I'm confident he'll be here for a few years, and as long as he keeps doing it on the pitch, and we keep, honestly, I think Fosun's mantra, and again, I don't necessarily agree with it, and it's quite boring to say. Fosun will be happy if we come 17th every year, in my opinion. I don't think they actually care too much. So as long as Gary O'Neill keeps us in the league and there's no danger of us going down, Gary O'Neill will be here until he doesn't want to be here anymore, in my opinion.
So that was pre-season. Moving on now to a bit of heartbreaking news. Pedro Neto has left Wolves to join Chelsea, which is a strange transfer, Dave. I think we were all expecting him to move on. As it got a little bit closer to the end of the window, you're starting to feel like, maybe he might stay. Maybe, there's a chance. But it's one that moves really quickly. And if I'm totally honest, Dave, it doesn't feel like there's a loser in this deal, really. I think Wolves have got a fantastic fee. Neto's got to move to a big club, although they're not in Champions League. It's still a massive club in London. And Chelsea have got another winger, but I think £55 million for a player who's missed, I believe, around 600 days for injury since he joined Wolves. I think it's probably as good as we could have hoped for.
Yeah, I think this is why, for me, I don't think, I think a lot of Wolves fans are sort of in agreement that I think we all expected him to go, and it's probably a fair fee. I've only seen maybe a handful of people think that we should be getting a lot more money for him. But I think we knew in sort of April, May that if Pedro was going to be fit, that he was going to be moving on this summer. I'm surprised it's taken as long as it has done, but I suppose with the Euros, that's why this has happened. But yeah, Chelsea's a surprise, mainly because the amount of players that they've already got in those sort of areas. But it happened so quickly. Obviously, Jorge Mendes, I think, is in London. He's trying to broker a few deals with Chelsea at the moment, with João Felix as well. So I am surprised at that, but it's weird. I've no real emotion towards the move. I'm not devastated, but I think that's because I've sort of, in my head, I sort of appreciated that this is a given. This was going to happen, but no excuses for Wolves now. I think Neto was the man that we all expected to go. With Kilman on top of that, there is money to play with, so no excuses for Wolves now. The last couple of weeks of the window, they've got to be strengthening the squad in some capacity. I think Gary O'Neill's pretty much openly said that we're not going to get someone of Pedro's quality, but I certainly think if you can get someone close-ish to that player, but available, double the time, then you're onto a winner, really, because those injuries were really what held Wolves back last season.
I think that now we almost need we made some nice signings. For me, as talking to me personally, I think we now need almost like a statement signing, something that's really going to get fans like, oh, you know what, we got rid of Neto, but we've got, and that might be a centre back, it might be a winger, it might be a midfielder.
I don't feel like we've had that for a while. We haven't had that.
We haven't.
I'm looking at teams linked, and I'm like, flipping, that's a great signing. But I'm looking at Wolves, and obviously, I'm not saying, again, I think our transfer business so far has been very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Wolves, maybe they're not, they are sort of coming away from those 30, 40, 50 million pound signings. But I agree. I think, I want to see the news. I'm like, shit, that is that is an unbelievable signing. But
we need someone who's going to improve the 11, not like other squad players who are going to come in and out. And they've spent big before. Guedes, Nunes, Silva doesn't necessarily work, but I feel like with Hobbs at the wheel, he's probably, if I was going to be spending that money, we'd be getting value for money. But for me, I want a statement signing now. I want something to get excited about. I'm not even bothered whether is a light replacement for Neto or another centre half. But yeah, just to Wolves to show us the colour of the money, really. They could, I think, from a PSR point of view, if you baked in all the agent fees and whatnot, I think they can spend in this accountancy period, I think, 200 million from PSR point of view. Obviously, they're not going to do that, and it would be daft for them to do so. But there's economics and there's accountancies. Like it's
still players to go out as well. To be fair,
yeah.
I think there might be one or two more that will go out for sure. I think obviously a couple of lads that'll go out on loan. You would assume one of Pedence, Guedes, or Chiquinho will probably leave, or both.
I think both will.
And obviously Fabio will go as well. So Gary O'Neill keeps talking about Premier League experience. So be very interesting if we go and raid another Premier League club or whether we have to, go elsewhere. I saw someone message me about Issa Diop as well earlier on, and I'm not convinced by that signing because I don't think he's a massive upgrade on what we've got at the moment. But there are players with Premier League experience abroad, so it just depends on how much Wolves want to chuck at it. But I still feel we could bring in another 3 or 4 before the end of the transfer window, but time's ticking.
Just bringing it back round to Neto, Jord, it's reported, and whether you believe it or not is entirely up to you, that Trevor Chalobah, sorry, wasn't it? And Fofana, Datro Fofana were both offered in a make-way deal. It's also understood that Oliver Skip was offered from Tottenham, which I nearly fell off my seat when I saw that. Personally, mate, I would have taken Chalobah in a deal, but if you're looking at from a purely footballing perspective, and I know other people had said this, or like, why didn't you try and get him on a swap deal? But you got to be thinking, how many players are willing to leave Chelsea on massive wages to come to Wolves and still be motivated to play?
Yeah, no, I think there is that. And also as well, it was obviously a PSR thing why we didn't want any players in there. It gives us more freedom to be able to move in our own way by getting the money up front or at least getting a cash deal. And if you want to go and get Chalobah or Fofana or even Brower, for example, that's someone else we were linked with previously, like we can go and do that on our own deals. I think the thing with Chelsea is you could probably wait until deadline day and they're going to be wanting to ship out about 15 players on loan. So you could probably get some cheap deals there at that point because people are going to want to play. So we might end up going back in for a Chalobah or Fofana or whoever else might be there. But yeah, I just think the Neto deal is such a good deal for us. Honestly, I know it comes with a bit of sadness and whatever, and I know that people were comparing it to like when we lost Neves or Jota. Not for me, honestly, not for me. I think he's a very good footballer, talented footballer, but missed far too much football for me. And we're not in a position to have a 50, 60 million pound asset who's playing 15, 20 games a season for us. So I think the money's unbelievable that we've got for him. I think there's only one reason why he's gone to Chelsea for that money is because Chelsea are the only club willing to pay that sort of fee for him. And look, I wish him all the best. I've got no ill feeling against him. He's a brilliant footballer on his day, but I just think the money was way too good to turn down.
He said he was upset at leaving. Said it was very, very tearful. Which I get. He joined Wolves as a really young man, and now he's a proper bloke now, isn't he? But I see people saying, well, if he didn't want to leave and he was crying, why have you sold him? It's like, well, it's just how football works. Like, of course, you want to keep hold of your best players, but every club is a selling club. City have just sold Alvarez for 80 odd million. And he's, one of their most promising talents. And I'm sure they didn't want to. I know it was driven by the player a little bit more, but every club with the fast that is PSR, he's a selling club. So, whilst, he would have kept him and he wasn't forcing a way out. And by the way, Matheus Nunes, that's how that's how you go after a move. We simply cannot afford to keep him around, especially when there's a very, very good chance that asset could depreciate drastically if he has another season like last season where he's hampered through injury.
Yeah, Wolves had to sell him this summer, and I think the quotes by Matt Hobbs and the club have sort of hit the nail on the head. Obviously, like you said, he joined the club as a kid. When you've been working or doing whatever for 5 years, obviously you're upset because you've enjoyed your time there, which I'm sure he has.
Relationships with people and
exactly, but ultimately, I think Gary O'Neill said, "Look, if you want to stay here, you can stay, but we're not going to stand in your way," which is fair enough. And like you've said, I think the money's right. And I think both parties or fans as well, we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen this summer. I think that obviously, like you said earlier, the closer it got to September or the end of August, you're thinking, hold on, we might keep a hold of him here. But ultimately, I think it's a good fee. Helps Wolves financially, but gives us a good chance, to go in a slightly different direction now. I think it's a good deal for both parties because if Neto stays injury free, he could be one of the best players in the Premier League if he really wanted to. But we'll wait and see.
I think having such competition at Chelsea, especially in the wide areas, may go in his favour because he's not subject to playing 90 minutes every week, and he can have a bit of a rest. So, obviously, I don't want him to do well against Wolves, but I do hope he cracks on and shows people how good he is because we've all seen it on his day. He is magical. But in terms of transfer, Jord, say we keep the squad as it is. So regarding Silva, he'll be off. You keep Guedes, you keep Podence. How many more do you think that we need? And if they are to go, how many more do you think we need if they do leave the club?
It's tough, isn't it? Because I actually genuinely look at this as a squad. I don't think we're a million miles off, actually being, because we've always had small squads. I actually think we've got cover in a lot of areas now. And I think there's argument to say we need a left back, or actually, behind Aitnery, or even to allow Aitnery to play a bit further forward. I think the centre half we've spoken about, and possibly another winger as well. I think it's tough, right? Because I think Fabio's definitely gone. I kind of done a bit of a U-turn on Guedes. He looks like he wants to be here. And I think if he wants to be here, there's a player there. I mean, the season before we brought him, didn't he score like 20 plus goals for Valencia that season? And he just seems to have been bouncing around the leagues and stuff, and like on loan, he's not really hitting it off anywhere. I just feel like he feels a bit lost. Podence is just working for Olympiacos, and I just would get rid of him anyway. I think he's a problematic player for us. But I think we're about four maybe. I think we need about 4. Be interesting to see. I think the one I would like to get, I think we could get for a relatively decent deal. And I'm interested with him is like someone like Jonathan Rowe from Norwich. Now, I think he's the sort of profile player that Gary O'Neill would like. I think the type of profile player Wolves would want. Young, got a point to prove. I don't think he'd cost loads. I think he'd probably no more than
1 year
12
left on his
million.
deal as well, I think.
Yeah, he refused to play on the weekend. I think that's the sort of player I would want to see coming for Neto. Well, yeah, no, but also I think his output was good last season.
So
I think
he had a
his
bad
injury
injury,
record's
though,
decent.
yeah. He had a bad injury last season, though, I think, but
but it's just
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by. Well, I think Rowe's a good player, but I think it's just an underwhelming replacement for Neto. And like I said earlier, I don't think you're going to get a like for Neto. I think a little bit like you said earlier, Matt says. I think we almost need a statement to say, look, because I have no doubt Jonathan Rowe could be a good player. In the Championship market, is one that is seriously underrated by us as a club. We've very rarely tapped into it enough. I just don't know. It's not. I think
there's some good value in the
it's a bit of a
Championship.
gamble.
Problem
for sure,
the Championship isn't cheap. It's not a cheap deal cheap place to do business in. It used to be, but I think now you look at like other areas where it's South America or like the French league, because the French league teams of their TV deals been cut by 50%, hasn't it? Yeah, so their revenues pretty poor. So you get bargains there, but yeah. There is a question about that in the questions, but yeah, I wouldn't. It'd be a good signing, but saying that when Neto come in, we didn't really know what he was, and I know it took him a couple of years, or a year to get up to speed. Perhaps that's what Wolves are looking at. I think Rodrigo Gomez is probably a more like for like Neto in terms of how direct he is, but I would like someone as equally direct on the wing, the other side. That isn't Sarabia or Chiquinho. I think we need someone else. But Dave, what positions are your priority to strengthen?
I think a backup striker. In an ideal world, I'd say 4. Another centre half, possibly another central midfielder, a wide attacking player, and another striker. I don't think we'll get all 4. I think centre back and probably wide attacker is probably going to be the priority for Wolves. Because again, like I said earlier, it's about sort of dynamics. It's about depth and squad harmony. And I think our depth is actually okay. I remember someone put a squad, our best 11. I think genuinely you could put 2 Wolves 11s out and they'll both be very competitive in the Premier League. So that's where I think our depth is okay. But it's just about keeping players happy because, like I said, you bring in another centre-back, you end up having someone as a 5th choice there. You bring another central midfielder in. They're not necessarily going to be first choice, but then either Boubacar or Tommy Doyle become 5th choice. So it's just about finding that balance. But I think the squad is okay. It's good, but it's sort of where we are at the moment, I think we're just going to be standing still. If we want to jump up another level, that's when we've got to reinvest this money that we've received for Kilman and Neto. And I think the Strand Larson and Rodrigo Gomez deals were probably preempting that we were going to get a big sale. So they've sort of invested that money earlier. But certainly, you've got enough scope to be spending another 20, 30 million, I feel, this window. There's some links just now, not from reputable sources, but even like someone like Mikel Antonio. Would he want to come here as a backup? Probably not, but I wouldn't be against someone like that as a second choice to Strand Larson. And then again, the French kid, the young centre-half as well, not going to be a first choice. But that then means you're relying on your Tottis and your Mosqueras to be the centre-halves, which I think a few Wolves fans won't be that convinced by. So, I don't know, I'm interested, but with the Neto deal, you saw how quick that moved. It was Friday afternoon and the deal was done and confirmed by the Sunday. So we may well see that with Wolves, and the window's been quiet so far. And I think deals like that will just, the dominoes will start to fall into place.
It's prediction time, lads. I know we always look at our pre-season predictions at the end of the season, and on the whole, they're normally shocking. So I am going to ask you for predictions for the following, and Finn has sent his in via video, which we will put up on screen shortly. So I'm going to ask you for Wolves' top goal scorer, your Wolves player of the season, Wolves' final position, and 2 hot takes for the wider Premier League. Dave, I'll start with you. Who have you got for your Wolves' top goal scorer?
my predictions to this are normally awful, but I'm gonna back the new guy. I'm gonna go with Strand Larson, top scorer. I don't think he'll be bagging 20 plus goals, but I think he'll be close between a few players similar to last year. But I think he'll just about edge it.
Player of the season?
Player of the season, I go Cunha.
Wolves' final position?
I'll say 11th. I think we're going to be in and around that again. I don't think. I'm hoping that we're too good to be struggling, but I still don't think we're strong enough to be pushing for Europe consistently.
Your 2 hot takes for the wider Premier League?
I think the 3 teams that have come up are going to go straight back down.
Yep.
And Haaland not to win the Golden Boot this year.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice. That's a good one, to be fair. It's a good one. Okay, cool. We'll put Finn's on screen now.
Hello everyone, Finn here reporting from a very sunny Falmouth. Apologies I can't be on the podcast, but I cannot miss predictions, seeing as I was I on fire last year? I swear I did alright. So we are back again with these ones. I'm going to go for my top scorer being Hwang Ki-chan. I'm gambling on penalties there to save me. If it goes to someone else, then maybe that'll be wrong. But yeah, I'm going to go Hwang top scorer, Cunha to be player of the season. Final position, I'm between 10th and 11th, and I'm going to go 11th because it was my gut. And wider predictions, they're going to be Aston Villa to finish bottom half, and I think this one's going to take a lot of calculating, so apologies to Matt or Dave who end up counting this up, but every single one of the clubs that voted for VAR, so I'm going to go with the 16, we're going to let off Sheffield United, Leicester, not Sheffield United, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton, but every single team that voted for it last season, all of those managers are going to moan about it, top them all up, and we'll make massive hypocrites of them. It's going to happen this season. It's going to annoy me, so I may as well get a prediction right. Gary O'Neill's allowed to, by the way, and so are the promoted clubs. But you did this to yourselves. Hopefully back on the podcast soon. And yeah, I've seen 2 Wolves shirts here, so it's a great effort from you guys. And I'll see you all soon.
Finn Morris's prediction there. Can't believe he's tipped Wolves to go down. What Wolves fan would fantastic. Jord, I'm coming to you next, mate. Who's your top goal scorer for Wolves this season?
I'm with Dave. I'm going to back Strand Larson.
Okay.
I think I've seen enough of him in pre-season that I like. I think he gets 1 goal. The floodgates will open a little bit, and by floodgates I mean probably no more than 12. But I think we'll have a lot of people in and around sort of 8, 9, 10 goals, and I think he'll just edge it.
Who do you think your player of the season is going to be?
I think it's going to be Ryan Aït-Nouri.
Ooh, nice. I love that. What's Wolves' final position?
Well, I said 14th and 4-4-2, so I'll be consistent and say 14th. I think, honestly, we could finish anywhere between 9th and 20th, though. It all depends on the next couple of weeks in the transfer window. But, yeah, I think 14th. I think it wouldn't surprise me if we have a very similar season to last year where we're sort of punching in and around those Europe spots and then just fall flat on our arse, but we'll see.
Your 2 hot takes for the wider Premier League.
So, Nuno to be the first Premier League manager to be sacked.
Yeah.
And my second one is that overseas Premier League games will get announced before the end of the year.
End of the season. Yeah.
End of the season.
But I think there'll be like this season they'll announce it for. I think the deal will get done this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, moving on to the questions. We've had
every year.
Like clockwork. My top goal scorer is Mateus Cunha. I just think if we can keep him fit, he's going to be pretty pivotal to everything that we do. My player of the season was either going to be Cunha or Aït-Nouri, but I'm going to go with Aït-Nouri. I just think that from his development last season and hopefully playing a little bit further up the pitch, depending on the system, I think that we could see him shine and then he'll earn himself a big move in the summer. Wolves' final position, I'm going to go 15th. I just think that's where we're going to finish. I don't think we're any better than like 10th to 15th. So I'm going to be pessimistic and say 15th. Again, it could change depending on who we bring in. Now, these hot takes, I think for the last 2 seasons, I've said Villa will burn out and Emery will go. So I'm going to say it again. Because one season, it's going to be right. And my second hot take is Everton to finish in the top 8.
You're joking, mate.
Everton to finish in the top 8.
Have they even made any... Mate, aren't they having a point deduction?
It doesn't matter, mate. Dyche at the wheel. I'll just think with the signings that they've because they've signed it and Die, haven't they? And they've signed the lad from
Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, they signed Jake O'Brien. They signed the lad in the middle whose name escapes me.
Who's in Die? Who's that?
From Marseille.
The one at Sheffield United. Oh. Yeah, the Sheffield United.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've signed.
They've got
Jesper
Tim.
Lindstrom.
I can't. Tim, whatever he's called from Villa. I can't say his surname. Irregular, or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think if they keep hold of Calvert-Lewin and keep him fit, I don't know. I just think that team is like now dodgeball all over, and you know what he can do. So yeah, that.
To be fair, after the point deduction, they did all right. Like they slowed down a lot towards the end of the season. I can't see them. They're not stronger than 14 of it. No. Yeah, that's right. 14 of the teams.
I was going to have Brentford to go down as well.
I was going to say that, but I think because they've kept hold of Tony, I think they'll be okay for now.
Well, they might have, but you know what he can be like. He's a bit volatile, isn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, I did fancy that one. Or Fulham as well, because without Palinha.
Yeah, but I feel like again they're doing a bit of decent business as well.
Adama's going to be good this year, you know.
That's going to be horrible to watch. It's going to be heartbreaking. I can't see him.
He scored again at the weekend.
Yeah, finally found his shooting boots. Bless him. Moving on to the questions, then we've had quite a few actually on Twitter. I think again a lot we've already covered. So let me just get those up. Rusco Wolves asked 3 questions. How long will O'Neill last this season? I think the full season, personally.
Full season, yeah.
Yes, so do I. A lot of people, again, I've seen some negativity towards a 4-year deal as well, but I think genuinely, as long as he does okay, because he's an English manager, his stock's going to remain high. I got told by someone that, and I know him personally, I don't know he's got close ties with someone else in the FA, that he's high up on the FA's list. But I still think if Pep wants that job at the end of the year, it's Pep Guardiola's for sure.
Yeah, of course. But
I think the whole thing having Kazi as an interim is that end of the season they're going to get someone who's already in a club job.
Yeah,
Gary O'Neill's got a chance if he does well this year.
On that England thing quickly, I really hope they just go and do the Pep thing. I think, you know what, if he even shows half an interest, because the same thing is his last year at City. No, I just think, you know what, just give it Pep, give Pep the keys, because he'll never manage Spain, will he? Because of
Catalonia.
Catalonia,
really?
I think. So yeah, so politically he won't manage Spain. So give him the England job. Get him
I
in.
think or Argentina or Italy, but those nations are very much like wed to having an Italian or an Argentinian managing the national team, don't they? So I think if he was to be an international manager, perhaps England will be a good choice. But I just can't see it happening personally. He's also asked, will we sign any more players? There's another question from Matthew Cooper. Are Wolves interested in Lazio goalkeeper Christos Manda?
No, they are not. No interest whatsoever.
Transfer Reaper strikes again.
Yeah.
No.
Just do what I do, mate. Just keeping everyone level-headed, keeping our feet on the ground.
From the players who have been linked recently, can you just let everyone know the ones that we are definitely not interested in? And I put you on the spot a bit here, but
I think I've confirmed everyone that I know are not interested in. I've confirmed. So Christos Mandaz, the goalkeeper, Wolves are not interested in. Wolves aren't looking to replace Hugo Bueno, by the way. The Middlesbrough striker, there's no interest in. Orlando, yeah, Brozier, there's no interest in. I think that's most.
That's good. About, yeah, that'll do. That's enough.
I think the young kid from Nonce, or however you want to say it.
What do you call me?
There is interested in him, but it's the fee and how you'll fit into the squad. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the ones from the last week, I think.
Any news on that 13-foot centre half playing?
That was ruled out as well. So.
That would have been so much fun.
Yeah, I would have loved that as well.
No,
what was it? What you remember Onuachu? What's he doing nowadays?
That's what I said on the transfer podcast. Remember that segment we had dedicated to like strikers over 196 centimetres?
Yeah. Ludovic York, and then mate, what a baller he was. And
yeah,
then,
there was
Onuachu.
Yeah, Ludovic Jord. There was Onuachu. There was Kalijasic.
Yeah.
There was who else was there? I know there was Severovic was always linked, but he's just under 196.
Yeah, made the cut. Sorry,
there was a few big boys, weren't there? Paul Onuachu dodged the bullet there. He was hopeless, wasn't he?
He was gash, yeah.
Score of the worst hat trick ever scored.
Yeah.
Nothing but Neto as at if Lamina is injured. What is our best midfield 2 or 3? Bellegarde did very well against Leipzig with Lamina. Should he get a look? I think we could see Bellegarde having a massive impact this season, personally.
Yeah, I think it's very quick. No, I don't think he's like will be player of the season, but I think certainly could be a dark horse for that. And so is João Gomez. I think both of those have got the ability to impact games where they can be that player which everyone talks about. But I think it right to tell the best 2 or 3. If Lamina's out, it's Bellegarde, Tommy Doyle, and João Gomez. I think that would work. We play Bellegarde further up and have Gomez and Doyle.
Yeah, I agree. Sean Mitchell has asked favourite previous strip. For me, Prague 2015. Hashtag there was a club called Darlings. It was mine's the blue strip, which I'm not sure what year it was, but Stephen Elliott and Andy Kerr would have been wearing it. It was blue and it had like orange pipe in there.
Really dark blue, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be like 05, 06 maybe.
Maybe. So I'm sure someone will correct us, but yeah, that was my favourite strip. What's your 2's favourite strip?
07, 08, that was, I think, sorry.
Mine's I've got 2, to be fair. It's either the Doritos home one or it's the away Wolfhead one, 97, 98, the teal green one.
Yeah, I was going to say that one, the one that is tattooed to Harry Mansell. He loves that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What's he doing these days?
Harry, he's still doing content. Yes.
How is it? I'm just trying to find. Was it 05, 06, you say, Dave?
No, it was later than that. Sorry, it was 07, 08, that kit.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kit. That was.
Chaucer the sponsor?
Yeah, it was.
Le Coq Sportif. Yeah, lovely top, that one. You know which one I think is massively overrated? 09-10 away shirt, the white and red one.
We spotted that one.
Wank.
Yeah, because the Wolfhead was red as well. I hated that. There's a lot of people that love that kit. I thought it was awful.
No, not a fan.
Remember Berda?
Yeah, Berda,
Yeah.
Yeah, Berda.
It's a dodgy things back
Weird
in the
one,
day.
wasn't it? Yeah, it was a strange one. Next question, Mitch Davis. How long until we revert back to a 5 every game? I think it's all positive. I think it'll be fluid anyway, but I don't know. My only worry is that with the start that we've got, similar under Large, it'll be a bit gung-ho. We won't pick up any points and we'll shut the shop.
Yeah. I'd take a shithouse 0-0 right now for Saturday, by the way. I know we haven't really spoken much about the Arsenal game, but I would love, just get out there, get something out of that game, because I think Chelsea's difficult. Obviously, we got the double over them last year, but they weren't easy games. We still had to work hard for those wins. So I think at home against Chelsea, we can play our football, we can play our way, we'll be okay. But it's just how quickly we adjust, because Aït-Nouri and Semedo are quite attacking fullback. So if they push forward, you've got to just try and find that shape and make sure we're sort of pretty sturdy at the back. Obviously, that's up to Gary O'Neill to make sure we are.
Andy Lord has asked, what do Arsenal see in Bentley that we don't, and why would they offload Ramsdale as part of the deal? I'm not sure whether they would offload Ramsdale as part of the deal, but Dave, I'm pretty sure with Bentley, he's classed as trained by the club before 19, is it the criteria?
I think, trained by the club for 3 years before you're 21, I think. And that's a lot for Champions League, really. So it's it's more for registration rules. He'd be nothing more than a third choice goalkeeper there, or maybe second choice if Ramsdale were to go. I can't see there being any swap deal. If there are, Wolves would have to pay obviously a pretty handsome fee as well. But yeah, it's purely for registration reasons, and because Bentley played there as a kid.
Yeah, it's literally all it is. Ewan Mustard, he sounds good. He said, "Could we get Europe?"
No, we could.
Yes,
we could get relegated as well. So
but we won't. Yeah.
But no, we could. But you need extremely good run of form. You need probably more backing in January to continue the momentum. But
yeah,
I think there's so much quality in the Premier League right now. Everyone's getting stronger and stronger every year. Villa, Newcastle involved now. It's so difficult.
And that's why I said no, like straight away, because I just think you've got to spend 100 million just to stand still. Right now, like you say, like Chelsea will be better next year. United will be better this season. Obviously, Newcastle will be better. Villa are obviously there. West Ham spent a lot of money.
That's going to be hilarious when that blows up, by the way.
It is going to blow up, yeah. I know, it's going to be funny. And I had a West Ham fan at work. He messaged me today on Slack saying, I think the Kilman deal's brilliant bit of business. And I went, we'll see what you're saying. I was like, I can't believe there was a decimal between the 4 and the O. To be honest with you, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But no, I do think West Ham that'll blow up. But I do think there's a lot of quality in the league, in all seriousness now, and it's tough to even break the top 10. I would say for us, really.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be Talking Wolves podcast without a question from Amar's music show. He's asked, do you get any special insight from the club that ordinary fans don't? This could be anything from ticket sale figures, injury information, training stats, information on player contracts, player fines. The answer is not unless we ask, and then even so, sometimes no.
Yeah, we only, and as you can probably tell by my tweets, if we ever get stuff from Wolves, it's normally negative news. It's never normally like, wow, groundbreaking breaking news. Like it's like, just to quash things really. But we try. I mean, it's not our end goal to get in bed with the club really, as you would have seen in the summer with
the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
The stance on the season tickets and stuff like that. But obviously we want to try and have some sort of relationship with the club, which I'm sure we do have. But it's just we got to find that sort of space between us being a fan-led podcast and not being in bed with the club. Really,
as soon as you go in bed with the club, you
can't do both.
You can't at all. No, you got to do one or the other.
Exactly. That's all we got time for. We are back. We're back on the road. Anyone going to Arsenal at the weekend?
Unfortunately, not.
No, we were going to go, weren't we? But I think the trains are. I know that there might be a protest in Birmingham. I'm not sure if that's.
I think I did it the same last year. I think with the amount of times I've been to Arsenal loads as well. I think I just watched the pennies a little bit more before the end of the year. So hopefully I'll do a few, but at the moment it's too busy. It's been mental. I'm going to Amsterdam as well next month. Sorry.
Nice. Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah,
wonderful stuff. Wonderful. Yeah, I'll watch it on the box. But yeah, I'm hoping that the weather stays the way it is for everyone going down there, have a few beers and enjoy it. And like Dave said, hope for a smash and grab. Or to be fair, it's probably the best time to play. I know you play them twice a season, but good time to play the bigger teams because they're not at full strength. We've only had players coming back, but it's still going to be a massive task. Dave, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
It's at Dave as a Party on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Get involved a little bit.
Jordan?
Jord was 7 on Twitter and Instagram.
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is going strong. You know, there is still the odd LinkedIn post. I think we never should neglect the LinkedIn for what it is.
No. I agree. Matt Cooper bites across all platforms. To be fair, I don't really use my own social that much anymore. The last time I posted on Instagram was May, and before that was January, and before that was about a year ago. So, yeah, I'm not really posting on anything else but Matt Cooper Bites if you want to follow me on there. But don't forget football prizes as well, as we said at the start of the show, competition. Steve Bull signed wool shirt, £3.95 plus 12 instant win prizes. Go to footballprizes.co.uk. Competition ends 7:30 Thursday. We are talking Wolves across all platforms. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, please drop us a 5-star review if you've enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, drop us a like, subscribe if you know. And until next time, fantastic to have you all with us again. And we'll be back next week with another podcast. Bye for now.